Kosmos for the Switch is no more. Today we're going to cover what happened, including looking at a couple of the rumors and speculations that are flying around the interwebs regarding the situation. And for those of you like myself who use Kosmos, what happens next? Where do you go from here? Life after Kosmos. All of that and more coming up after this. Hey guys, and welcome to the video. And before we even get started, just need to remind you to make sure that you like the video. By doing that, it shows your support for the entire channel. Even though what we are presenting here today is something that you may not like or makes you sad or whatever, I'm just the messenger, guys. Plus, I am thinking about doing a tutorial where I can show you how to basically make your own Kosmos. It's not that difficult. They left us the source code here as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you also let me know by liking the video and or by commenting down below. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and one more thing. This is going to be primarily me just kind of talking, going over the stuff as to what happened with Team Atlas NX and Kosmos and a lot of the gossiping and rumors and drama and theories and all that junk regarding this situation. So there's not going to be much to see. I'll probably throw a couple of things up here and there for those of you who are watching to keep you visually entertained, maybe except for the last 2 minutes or so when we go to the sdsetup.com site where I show you some stuff. Prior to that, most of it is just going to be me explaining some things, going over some stuff. So now let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so when you come here to the Kosmos GitHub, you notice that everything regarding Kosmos has been removed. We do have the source code that was left behind, and it does state here that Kosmos has been archived. They also posted up a message here. I'll go ahead and read it for you real quick. It states that we thank you for everything. The last 2 years have been truly life-changing, and we have made so many great friends in that time. They continue by saying, sadly, the last year or so, the scene has got more and more toxic to the point where nobody of us, I guess that you mean none of us, has had any fun keeping Kosmos updated. We lost so many great friends because they were bullied out of the scene, and we truly miss them. And then they go ahead and they post up a couple links here. One of them is to the Atmosphere GitHub. The other one is to this sdsetup.com, which is a way to set up your SD card with a bunch of stuff. This has actually existed and has been up since before Kosmos existed, and we're going to revisit this a little bit later on. They finish by saying, thank you to everyone that has helped us over the last 2 years with such amazing support by all these talented developers. Kosmos would have never grown to the point where it is today. Goodbye, Team Atlas NX. So that's pretty much it. That's what they have officially posted here on the Kosmos GitHub. Now, in all fairness, there is more to this story than what has been posted here. And in order for you guys to be better informed, I think we need to take a look at that, especially what happened over the past few days, because normally I'm the type of person that I don't care about, rumors and speculations and theories and whatnot. I just take those with a grain of salt and move on. But there's a couple of them that seem like they can definitely have some truth behind them, or at least one of them might. And in order for you to get a better idea of possibly what truly happened, I think you need to just see the bigger picture as a whole, starting from what was released a few days ago. So let's go there. Okay, so let's start actually with a couple of weeks ago or so when there was a Super Mario 64 PC port of the game that was released to the public. This port did not require emulation. It could be installed onto Windows natively, meaning Windows would recognize it like just a regular Windows type game. And then this past Friday, I think it was the 8th, this game surfaced as a Switch port with the same thing. It didn't require an emulator to play. You could install it and play it natively on the Switch. It would install like any other backed up Switch game, like an XEI or NSP file. Now this is a big deal because in order to be able to do this, you need to have the source code of the game. It turns out that the source code of the game had leaked prior. Of course, Nintendo doesn't authorize this, so any ports that are made with the source code are illegal because none of them have Nintendo's consent. And that is important because on the Switch version of SM64, when you install it inside of the ROM FS, which I believe it's a folder if I remember right, there was a README file in there and it contained the Patreon link to Team Atlas NX's Patreon page. So this is like a triple whammy. Not only is this game obviously a pirated game, it also contains a Patreon link, which makes it seem like the game was bootlegged in order to make money off of it, and that link points right back to you. In this case, it's Team Atlas NX. And nothing will put you on Nintendo's naughty list faster than you pirating a game and also trying to make money off of it. Now, Team Atlas NX on Friday the 8th made these two posts one after the other. The first one here states that they didn't build nor do they take ownership of the build of Super Mario 64 for the Switch that was released. The build contains a README in its ROM FS that associates the build with us, but no one on the team is responsible for it. So they are denying that they made the game. In this one here, it says basically because their Patreon link is there, they don't want anybody donating, that they are looking to temporarily disable their Patreon page because they didn't feel comfortable about possibly profiting off of a pirated game. So here they are denying that they have anything to do with the information that's in the README or the fact that the game came from them. And this is where things start to get interesting. And that is what has generated a lot of the rumors, speculations, and theories going on out there. But of all the ones that are out there, there are two that hands down have gained more attention and more traction because an argument, a legitimate one, could be made for either one of these two rumors or theories. And actually the second one has kind of a fork to it as well. We'll get to that in a second. The first is that Team Atlas NX actually did it. They made the game and they released it, and then they may have had second thoughts or they just wanted to cover their tracks by posting up these two comments. These two comments are both very by the book, by the numbers type comments. And if you cannot prove that the game came from them, other than just a link contained in a README file that technically anybody could have put in there, then yeah, they may not get in trouble. And so that's why they posted these things to kind of push the attention to someone else and that it wasn't them. And the second theory is that this actually was done by someone else. A person or persons, for whatever reason, did this in order to frame Team Atlas NX because they wanted to either scare them to the point where they left the scene or maybe legitimately get them in trouble, which would of course cause them to leave the scene as well. Either way, it was done by a person or persons with malicious intent to get them out of the scene for, again, whatever reason, maybe simply, maybe because they just didn't like them. And we know that there are developers that don't like each other. In this instance, Blawar, who is the developer of Tinfoil, absolutely hates Kosmos. He never wasted an opportunity to mention that. Then again, he's an extremist who hates everything. We've talked about him before. Now, I'm not saying he had anything to do with this, but he's one of the examples of someone who didn't like Kosmos or Team Atlas NX. Now, a fork of this second theory is that a person or persons did this in order for Team Atlas NX to get in trouble or to ultimately leave the scene because they were indirectly or directly connected to Team Executor in some way. By eliminating the competition, Team Executor can generate more income from its SXOS. Because if you think about it, there is no more Kosmos, there is no more Nutos, and I'm not going to put Rain-X on the level of Atmosphere or SXOS, at least not now. So if something tomorrow was to happen to Atmosphere, SXOS would legitimately be the only game left in town. So if you wanted to run firmware on a modded Switch, guess what? If there's no more Atmosphere right now, your only choice would be to pay for SXOS, and because they would have that market kind of monopolized, technically they could double their price overnight and you would pay it, because what choice would you have? And again, these are just theories, but each one makes a strong case as to why it could be the truth. But as far as what the actual truth is, who knows? And we may never know. So I'm going to wrap up this whole Kosmos Team Atlas NX situation by just giving you my 2 cents. And here they are. If you are like me and ever in your life you watched any type of legal drama type show or a cop drama show, or you watch any other type of show or documentary that revolves around unsolved cases, cold cases, unsolved mysteries, things that have to deal like with serial killers, or maybe you just like that show Snapped, that's freaking crazy. Anyway, if you watch any type of those shows, you've probably on more than one occasion have heard law enforcement people, whether the show is scripted or not, you've heard them say there's no such thing as a coincidence. Maybe they might say, in my line of work, there's no such thing as a coincidence, or something to that effect. But when it deals with some type of criminal activity, or it's criminal in nature, whether they're trying to solve a case or trying to find a suspect or whatever, usually they say a coincidence is not. And almost always they're 100% right. It's strange that on Friday, right after this game gets released, Team Atlas posts these 2 comments, and then 4 days later on Tuesday, they're disbanded and there's no more Kosmos. And the reason that's given is pretty much that they just don't want to deal with internet trolls anymore. So yeah, no, I'm definitely not buying that, not even for $1. It is way too much of a coincidence. I mean, regardless of who made the game, whether it was Team Atlas NX or not, whether it was someone else for whatever reasons, it doesn't matter. My thing is, I'm almost 100% sure that they are not leaving the scene solely because it's become too toxic. That's the part I'm not buying. But that is just me, my opinion. You guys can, take everything in and come up to your own conclusion. I'm just going to chalk it up as an unsolved mystery and move on. So now that we got all that hoopla and stuff out of the way, what happens to those of you who have been using Kosmos? What happens when things start updating? There is no Kosmos. What do? Well, one of the things you can do is basically make your own Kosmos. If you come here to this link, sdsetup.com, you'll be brought here and you can basically just kind of load up a zip file with all the stuff that you want. You click on the Nintendo Switch logo there. If you click select under one of these, it will pre-bundle like a zip for you, but you can just come here, and since you're used to using Kosmos, click on Atmosphere or Hecate because that's what Kosmos used, and then you can just start adding the things you want. You can add the Tesla overlay menu to the zip file. You can add some sys modules like Amiibo, syscon. You can add homebrews like Edison, Checkpoint, JKSV, Gold Leaf, the original tinfoil lockpick. You can add the Homebrew App Store, the Homebrew menu. So technically you can have all of the stuff that pretty much came with Kosmos minus a few specific things, but you can even add emulators here and some other stuff. And then when you're done, you just click download zip, and that zip file will have everything that you selected here. This is kind of like a little SD card buffet type thing where you just load it up with whatever you want. Now, again, in the future, if you want me to do this tutorial within the next couple of days or so, make sure you like the video or just let me know in the comments, and we'll see what we can do with those source files that they put up. But even if we don't use them, I can walk you through the process of kind of setting it up the same way with pretty much almost all the same features that Kosmos had. And that's going to do it for today, guys. Sorry the video went on so long, but let me know what you think about all this and how you feel about Kosmos being gone and everything that happened regarding the whole Team Atlas NX thing. And if you found anything here informative, useful, helpful, or just entertaining, or you just want to throw some love or appreciation to the channel, you know the best way to do any of that is just to hit that like button. Maybe subscribe if you haven't already. Much love going out there to all of you guys. Be careful, be safe, but have fun, and we will see you on the next one.